Hello everyone! Gluebook January is coming up, so I thought that I would do a little Gluebook tour. I'd like to inspire some people to start a glue book, finish some glue books, just to enjoy glue books for Gluebook January. So I grabbed a bunch of different types of glue books, and I will just flip through a bunch of them, all right? So the definition of a glue book is any type of book, glue pieces of paper. You just glue pieces of paper into a book. There are so many different ways to do it. You can do it with themes. You can do it, I'm here to show you some of those. So I pulled out some of the books that I have, not all, just some, just an example of stuff. So let me get some things out of the way. The first thing that I want to say is you do not need magazines to do a glue book. They're nice if you have them, use them, but you do not need magazines. This is a glue book, and I'm just going to do a quick little sample. I'm not going to go page by page for these glue books. If you want to see more of the detail of the flip throughs, I do have a playlist called Gluebook Show and Tell, and you can pick the glue book that you are interested in seeing and take a look at it page by page if you would like. Find it in the playlist. So this one is just painted paper. I started with some jelly plate prints and sewed them into a book and just took pieces of paper and colored ephemera and just glued them in. It's the painted paper glue book. No magazines. There's another one, no magazines. It is the postage stamp book. All it is pieces of paper in the form of postage stamps from all over the world, and they are glued together into a book. It's still just a glue book. I'm just gluing pieces of paper into the book. Here is one. It's a little odd. It's done entirely with newspaper. Newspaper words, newspaper images. I've got some different languages, newspaper. All it is newspaper. So if that's all you have, it is possible to do a glue book with just newspaper, and it still turns out really cool. This is a meander book. I get questions on those too. It is in the playlist. It describes glue books, the meander books, how to make them, and what they are. There's some more examples of meander books. They're a lot of fun. They are just a little crazy. They're a lot of fun to do. But it is still just a glue book. It is a book that I've glued pieces of paper, newspaper, to the pages. That's it. That's it. I like glue stick myself. It's just, it goes faster for me. It's a little bit drier, so I don't have to wait for pages to dry, and I can go on. All right. So you do not need magazines to do a glue book. And this one is a 3-tier book. Again, I've got playlists that show 3-tier books and how to make them. There's a whole playlist about 3-tier books. This one, if you look at it, there's a lot of images on here. Not a single magazine, travel brochure, or catalog was used in this. No, none. This was done with calendar pages, with rubber stamped images, postage stamps, newspaper, and if you go to the playlist and look at this one, I go through the details of what all is included in this. It's a lot of different things. I've used my own photographs. I've used stickers. It's just, You can find images without having magazines. I want to stress that a lot. There's people, especially in other countries, magazines are expensive. They're expensive, even here. They're expensive. And you don't need to have them to do glue books. You just find little pieces of paper, book images, newspaper and stuff, packaging, and, glue that stuff together for a glue book. All right. This one I call the Serendipity glue book. If you've ever done Serendipity paper, you have a pile of scraps and you just glue them to a piece of paper randomly with, nothing. No worries, and this is kind of the theme that I've got going on this year, the Serendipity style glue books, and I will be getting into more details for Serendipity books. This is really stress-free. It's really uses up a lot of scraps that you might have. Just gather some scraps. This is good for junk journals. Just glue bits of paper into your book randomly with no care about composition or anything. It is the best glue therapy kind of glue book that there is in the whole entire world. It's not very special. It might not be the prettiest in the world, but it certainly is satisfying. I had a lot of fun doing that. So this will be the theme this year, the Serendipity glue book. Just glue it in randomly. Some books have a theme. There's another 3-tier book. This one I call the Find It book. There's a bunch of stickers in this one. The Find It book is kind of like an I Spy kind of thing. I did Serendipity pages, cut them up, and then made myself a list of things to find. So all of these things are somewhere on the pages of this book. It's a whole lot of fun. So if you are interested in spending some time looking for objects in the book, I do have details of every single page so you can find the things yourself, and then I show where everything is in another detailed video. A lot of fun. Fun for the kids. Fun for the kids to do and to play around with. The Find It book. So another theme is the Scavenger Hunt. So this one is more of an I Spy, where I did all the pages and then I hid certain images on the pages for somebody else to find with the list. I have a list here. So the Scavenger Hunt is just a little bit different. This is a project that's great for kids. You get a list of things to find, and then you add those to the page. So you give the kids a list of, cats and cartoon characters and birds and dogs and food and fish and textures and red and all kinds of different things. You make a list out ahead of time, give them some magazines, and let them find as many cats or as many of whatever they can, hearts, circles, and then they glue what they find, candy, they find onto the pages. So they are actively gluing the books and gluing the images themselves. This is a project that I did for a couple of little girls. I gave them a blank book. I gave them a list, and they went crazy going through magazines and other stuff looking for images that were on their list. So I do a scavenger hunt for Gluebook January. I do have one this year, and I've had them, this will be the third year. So there's a couple of scavenger hunt lists if you are looking for a scavenger hunt to do for yourself, for you and the kids, or whatever. I do have a list of things that you can go and find, and all the details of that are in the playlist as well. So you can do that. There's 2 scavenger hunt lists already. There'll be another one added January 1st. So here's another scavenger hunt book. This one's not finished yet. It's my big one. Here's emojis and crayon wrappers and numbers and ships and frogs. I just gave myself things that I wanted to look for, and I tried to find as many of that item as I possibly could, and then I glued them all together onto the page. So, fortune cookie, hot air balloons. So you can give yourself a list of things to look for, things that you like, and you can go and find all that kind of stuff. So that's the theme. You know, scavenger hunts can be a theme. Find it books. Here's another one with a theme. It's my alphabet scavenger hunt. Each page, each double page spread is one letter of the alphabet, for one page for every letter. And so I tried to find words and images that started with each letter, and I glued them all to the page. So that one was a lot of fun to try to find. There were some letters that were really difficult, but this is also a great one for kids, some younger kids. If they're learning how to spell, they can find words and get interested in words and reading and such. So that's just another theme. Another theme is the color glue book. This one is done with color textures, and each page has another combination of colors or single color. This one is almost done. Almost, not quite. I think I've got 5 pages left, and it will be done this year. Pulled out all the stuff. So it's another themed glue book. It started out as a blank book, and I just started gluing all the different color papers that I could find. There's some scrapbook papers and other things in here as well. Most of it's magazines, but you can use anything that you have. Color. I love color, so that was a lot of fun to do. Oops, things are falling. Things are falling. I've got so many books. Here's another kind of theme, I suppose. This is the first 3-tier book that I ever did, and I wanted the theme of vintage. Some of the things are vintage, but mostly they're just things that look like they're vintage. I made the book and then started gluing little bits of, napkin and packaging and security envelope patterns and whatever to the pages. And it turned out pretty fun. This one inspired me so much that I have made quite a few glue books with different themes since then. But this one is the one that started it all out. So I also get questions about collage. Okay? Collage kind of freaks people out, I think. The word collage seems really too artsy for most people. What I want to say about collage, the definition of collage is to paste. So glue books are in that category. They are collage, but they don't have to be fancy. A Serendipity book is collage, but it's really easy to do. You don't have to worry. You don't have to fuss with it. And this is one of those collage books. It's my glue therapy book. And it was just basically glue bits to the page and not really worry about what it looked like. I just wanted to relax with a glue stick and some paper. I have limited time, and so I just wanted what time I could spend just to sit down and relax and just glue little bits. So this whole thing was glue therapy for me. It's not fancy, but some people would call it a collage book. It is just a glue book. It's just a fancy word. So what I want to say about collage versus glue book, I don't want anybody to get hung up on, oh, that's a glue book and that's a collage book. They're the same thing. So if you think about people that like to go bird watching, some people like to go watch the freshly, the ducks, the baby ducks that are learning how to swim. And some people like to look at hummingbirds in the feeder in, the kitchen window. Those are way different kinds of birds. And you have to go different places to find the different types of birds. But they're still birds. You're still bird watching. Those people that like to watch baby ducks and those people that like to watch hummingbirds, they're still bird watching. They're birds. They're just very, very different. So collage book, glue book, it's just the same kind of thing. Don't get hung up on the word collage. Collage can be really easy. It doesn't have to be fussy, like, you have a preconceived idea of what collage is. If you're pasting a piece of paper down to a page, you're making a collage, and it doesn't have to be fancy. It can be random stuff like this. Okay, here's another one. What was this one called? I had to put, this one's a random collage book. It is junk journal pages. It is still just a glue book. I used junk journal pages and just randomly glued images, stuff to the pages. It turned out really, really fun. And here's another one, and this one was called the Anything Goes glue book. This one was very enjoyable. This one has different size pages. It is a true junk journal. I used all kinds of weird things, different shaped pages and whatever. And I kind of used the serendipity idea of just collecting a bunch of stuff and finding a place to put it down on a page. It could be called a collage, but it's still just a glue book. I just randomly put stuff down. And if you look at the videos for this, I show you what I do. I put down large things on the bottom and then, go through the whole book and put large pieces down and then go back through the pages. So I'm not trying to create a really pretty collage. It's more random that way. It's easier. It's less stress. And you get a whole bunch of junk just glued onto the pages. I recommend the Anything Goes glue book highly. It is no stress at all. Here's another one. This is one of my favorites. I'm running out of room here. This one is a visual journal. I don't want you to get all caught up in what things are called. Okay? These are all variations of Gluebooks. They're all just images, pieces of paper glued into a book. This one's an altered book. It used to be a math book that had seen better days. Pages were falling out of it, and I just like the looks of it. I was trying to leave white space. I was trying to teach myself how to leave white space because I didn't want to cover up the whole entire book. So the math problems on the page really helped me feel like the pages were filled when I'd only added just a few pieces. It's still only a glue book. I just glued images onto the pages. I love this book when I'm trying to get inspired and I'm trying to get motivated to do something. I love going through this book. It's just, it relaxes me, it is fun, and it inspires me like crazy to go and do another one, which I am planning. And there will be a video in January about the new visual journal. I call it a visual journal mostly because it is journaling for me without words. When I journal, I use images to express myself. And so this was, you find the image that catches your eye at that moment and just find a place to glue it in. So it is a journal in all the ways that a journal could be. It's a visual journal. It's a glue book. It's a collage book. Just like ducks and hummingbirds are still birds. It's just a different way to go about doing a glue book. So this is the type of glue book that most people think of when they hear the word glue book. It's just a bunch of images glued into a blank book. There's no real focal point. It's just a collection of images all put together in a book. And this is what most people think of when they think glue book. But I do want to stress that it doesn't have to be this way. You can do a glue book any way you want to, using anything that you have. You do not need magazines like this to do a glue book. You do not. Do not. In fact, it is really a lot of fun to do a Serendipity type book without using magazine images. So this is more of a traditional glue book that most people think of, and I didn't want to start off with that because I would like to get other visions in people's heads about what a glue book could be. Here's another idea. Those color books that you have that you didn't finish, those pages that didn't get finished, why not grab them and just glue some images onto the pages? Really easy to finish up one of those color books with something like that. Just glue in some images and call it done. Call it done. So I'm hoping that that will inspire you to find something that you like, something that you want to try, something that maybe you have already. You have a junk journal and not sure exactly what to do with it. Grab that and find a bunch of images and just start gluing images into that book. That's all a glue book is. It's very addictive. It's very fun. It's very relaxing. I can't recommend glue books enough. There's no right way to do them. There's no wrong way to do them. There's so many variations and so many different kinds of books to use. You can use a Rolodex. You can use an altered book, a junk journal, a blank book, whatever you have. If you have an old art journal that didn't get finished, if you're anything like me, you have a pile of books that you started, didn't turn out quite exactly the way you wanted them to, and they're sitting in a stack somewhere. Grab one of those and start gluing images into it. And it doesn't even have to be images. I've got tissue paper. I've got wrapping paper. I've got calendars. Here's a cupcake wrapper, playing card, wallpaper, scrapbook paper, napkins, stamped images. It goes on and on and on what you can glue into a book. If it's paper, it's fair game for me. I will glue that baby into a book. Get your painted papers out. This was really relaxing and really fun to do. Just grab a bunch of painted paper and put them all together in a fun little glue book. So I hope that inspires you. Thinking outside the box when it comes to glue books. Anything goes. Gather your stuff, find a book to use, and go for it. Have some fun. Glue Book January is just around the corner. I look forward to posting the Scavenger Hunt list for this year, and I hope I will see you there. Thanks for watching.